All right, what's good, everybody? This is ITUTv, our first episode. I'm here joined with Tay and Michael Franz. We're going to get into what is Forex, what we feel about Forex, how we've been able to grow, learn, and appreciate this niche to do what we needed to do to take care of our families and be able to be free out here and do what we like to do. So go ahead and introduce yourselves and how you guys help out the university.
I'm Taylor, Taylor Watkins. I've been trading for about 3.5 years now. Long-term trader. I see a lot of things long-term, so a lot of higher time frame periods. I don't trade on those low time frames anymore. I did when I first started trading, but I realized that wasn't my niche. So I switched over to being a long-term trader. So I trade a lot of things on the higher time frames. That's really it.
And I am Michael Franz, the fundamentals individual, right? So kind of understanding what's going on economically, tying it into these markets, because everybody's like, if anybody's watching this that's brand new, the first thing that is going to come to mind every time you take a trade is, I want a better entry, I want a better entry, I want a better entry. You're not going to always get the best entry. But for me, if I can combine technicals along with fundamentals, then I can do things a little bit differently than what a lot of people may be able to do, since I can see what's in the markets. So we'll get into that a little more here. I'll tell you guys a little more of my experience as we go on. But just glad to be here with you guys.
Most definitely, and I'm glad to have you, Mike, man, and Tay. Appreciate you as well, bro, coming in, being able to give back to the people and help out those other traders out there that might need assistance. We're just run through quick questions. So my name's Zay. I'm the head professor here at ITU. I've been in the game for about 4 years now, and trading correctly and learning to trade correctly about the last 2.5 years. It's been fun. It's been helpful. Been able to make some adjustments during the pandemic and help my family out, and not only come back with the education that we've been able to gather the last 4 years and help you guys out a lot, with everything we can to make sure y'all are consistently profitable. You know what I mean? So real quick for me, I'm going to answer this question first just to knock it out, kind of give an example where we're going here. What is Forex to you? So in my case, for me, it was all about being able to do what I want when I want. It was all about being able to not have, a boss above me that controls my life. It's understanding of the markets, is understanding the world to me. I used to study finances when I was younger, in my early 20s, just so I can understand what I need to do with my money on a personal level. And this actually gave me the opportunity to not only understand money at a base level from the 9-to-5 perspective, but even going into being an investor and investing into other things. It's a grand understanding. You really can't beat the knowledge that you're going to get here, that you can utilize for your family's future and getting things done. So how is Forex to you guys? What has it done for you guys? Why did you want to get into this kind of thing? And again, we can lay the floor out to whoever wants to take.
Well, I think that's the most common answer you're going to get from anybody who's in this position is, I wanted freedom. 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 Right. And that's fine. It's fine to want freedom. That drive should consistently push you to continue to stay in this through the ups and downs, right? Whatever that drive is, whatever that why is, and everybody has their why, whether it's family, whether it's freedom, whether it's not being bogged down and held down from a 9-to-5 and rules and regulations, creating your own day, right? Those are great drives. You also should, though, want the knowledge, right? So I told myself this when I started getting into Forex. Of course, I want the extra money here and there. And we've seen all the IG posts, which actually we don't see them much anymore. Kind of funny, right? That happened as around compliance time and whatnot. So it's funny that we don't see it as much, but we used to see every 10 seconds it's a different post, somebody in their Lambo or somebody in there, where 99% of that stuff is rented, right? So they're giving false dreams anyway. So I told myself when I got into Forex, regardless, I'm going to be walking away with either the ability to trade and make money, or at least I'm going to walk away with knowledge that's going to allow me to make better decisions in my life. Right. So that hunger and that thirst for that knowledge to be able to maintain, it's like, okay, now I got this money. What do I do with it? That's also the important side. And that's what drove me. Right. So that's I think that's why I'm in the fundamentals portion more or less, because I love that information. I love being able to predict what's going to happen economically when everybody's like, no, it's not going to happen. So a little bit of a different angle from it, but I would tell everybody, when you're getting into this, the money can be a driver. Just make sure that the journey and the knowledge are something that you take into perspective as well. But go ahead, Tay. What's your take on Forex?
So Forex is initially was a quick scheme for me to try to make a lot of money that ultimately didn't turn into what I wanted it to be. Now is a long-term plan for me and my family. Now that I have a wife and 2 kids, it's more of something I'm planning to build, things that I'm building my account into so that I can have the initial capital I need to be able to do other things I want to. So more things that we can talk about for Forex is more of gave me understanding more of the market, the real world market. I wanted to get into Forex because it was also another avenue for me to learn how to actually get into stocks. So I wanted to understand more about what Amazon was doing, what oil was doing, what the world was doing, and Forex gave me that opportunity to understand a lot more of that stuff. But you start seeing a lot of the bigger picture things. As things were playing out, I would see things in real time as it was going on. So before we even had the war that were happening, I saw it play out, and then I saw me deploy. I had to deploy right before that. And while we're deploying, certain things were going on, I would see some of the things that would shape the market, and I have to act on in real time, which is kind of cool in a different aspect, especially being military. It was cool to see a lot of that stuff. It was like, hey, I would see it play out, and then boom, in the market at first, and then I'm like, oh, something's about to happen here in the market. Something's about to cause a drastic change. COVID happens, and then next thing you know, I'm deployed. COVID's going on, and people in internment camps. It's a whole nother avenue, a whole nother thing that plays out. So that's what Forex is for me.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'm not in the military, but I was able to have that same type of situation when I sold my house, right? Because I was able to understand the market. It's funny when you talk about understanding the markets. You can look at a stock, you can look at a Forex, you can look at a bond market, and it's all candlesticks and all patterns, right? So you can sit there and you can trade all of these just by understanding the way that candlesticks move themselves. So yeah, you can trade currencies, or you can trade index values, or you can go buy stocks. Or for me, I knew when I needed to sell my house. A lot of people that were kind of in that position, they were like, well, how did you know when to sell? And I'm like, well, guess what, the market told me when I needed to sell. You know what I mean? I may have left a little bit of money on the table, but whatever.
It's the same thing too. When I refinanced my house, I knew there was a good time for me to refinance my home at the time because of the market. I was like, people were calling me, things were at a low. I knew the market had crashed. I knew everything was down, and it's a good, perfect time for me to get my house refinanced to a low percentage. I think my house was sitting at 4.35% when I bought the house originally. They called me a couple of times. They called me for like 4 months. And eventually they kept calling me, and they kept saying, hey, we got this number for you at 3%. Hey, we got this number for you at it was like, at first it was like 3.5%, then it was like 3%. It just kept coming down until I got to a number that I felt was comfortable, which was at 2.75%, which I was like, oh, that's almost 2 points. That's almost 2% off me saving $50,000 over a long period of time. So it worked out. I could have jumped to the first wagon, but I knew the market was still coming down. So I knew, by knowing that, I knew also that those percentages will keep coming down, and they were gonna offer me some more money because that's what they were looking to do.
Well, we can always look at kind of what the masses see, right? The masses see what's going on television. And I've always said television is for them to tell you a vision, right? They want you to see certain things. So when you follow the money and you get the truth, you can also read these charts and know what's going to happen financially, not just major events, but also financially within this economy, right? So when we're sitting here being able to understand how to read the US dollar format, right? when we're seeing it going bullish? Well, we can see it going bullish, which is going up and becoming strong, but there's not a lot of money in people's pockets right now. So that's a falsified move. When you can understand those things and what's going on economically, that it's like almost being able to sit in front of your chart, learn how these things move, get the information, and you're giving yourself an education that a college isn't going to actually provide to you, right? They're giving you the real information on these charts. And you can see what I always say, you can see the forest through the trees when all these lies are given to us. And I'll say flat out lies or lies on TV, right? We can see why they are doing it, when they're doing it, this, that, and the other. So you can make better decisions long term, whether it's even politically, like your political views. My political views have changed a lot just becoming in Forex because I can see two different sides of what's going on now. So it kind of breaks the cycle. A lot of people that I've come in contact with are like, well, you should be voting Democrat. Well, you should be voting Republican. Why should I be voting that way? And they're like, well, because this is what's right. This is what's right. Well, why is it right? Why is it right to you? Well, because this is where I was raised. No. Break that cycle, man. Break that cycle. Get the information. Learn it, because you might be able to make a different decision than what you would have if you understand it better. You know what I mean? So Forex is very powerful. I've been on a couple of different types of podcasts, and I'll tell everybody that's watching this, I don't care if you trade or not. Learn to read a chart. Learn to read it, because you'll thank yourself in the long run for taking that time.
Correct.
For sure.
Like even as well. Even if you don't trade anything like that, you're eventually something is going to be able to. I could look at a market right now. Like I was having conversations with people. They would ask me, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Like real time stuff. Like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Buying some shares in this?" And I'm like, I don't know right now. That's not something that I would try to look into. Or telling people even for like their 401ks. I was telling people before that market crash, hey, your 401k is about to drop. You should probably move some of your money out. I knew people that looked at me and said, I don't care, and they lost $2 million in that period of time. $2 million in their investment in their retirement fund. They weren't very happy afterwards, and they hit me up was like, how'd you know that? And I'm like, I just looked at the market, my guy. The market was telling me that it was about to crash. I told you move your money out, and I told you that, hey, when this, give me a couple more months, I can tell you exactly when to put your money back in there. They would have made we looked at the numbers for it, they probably would have made $6 million after the bounce. All they had to do, because they made a bunch, they got their money back, but they had to recover everything first before the initial jump. So if they would have pulled out when I told them to put their money into a different fund, like the safe fund, and then move their money back later on a couple months, they would have made probably like $6 million a year, $5 million a year. So there's a big difference about how much money you're making based on you trying to be cocky. Like, well, that's fine with me. I can tell you whatever you want to listen to, but the thing is, if you're not gonna listen to me, I do not care. Like I can tell you something.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you to be friendly. I'm like, hey, do this, and they're like, nah. I'm like, cool, and I move on by my day.
Right.
It won't hurt my feelings.
But I don't want to hear I lost $2 million after that, because then I'm going to tell you, I told you so, right? I told you so. And you know what? This is more common, I think, for the people that I've come in contact with. They didn't lose $2 million, but they lost a lot of crypto. Let me tell you, the crypto market was the same way. Everybody was on this crypto boom, and people just don't understand what goes up must come down. Now, yes, what goes down must come up. But let me tell you, crypto had a massive, massive drop that needed to happen and continue happening. And everybody bought the dip going broke. Every dip that was on the 5 minute, you know what I mean? No, buy the dips and do dollar cost average if you're already in that. That's fine, right? But don't sit there and buy every 5 minute dip thinking it's going to go up and skyrocket like Bitcoin's going to go to 100 grand in the next 5 minutes.
It's important to have a bird's eye view of everything going on, especially when it comes to the crypto market. We've watched it since 2017 rise slowly over time. But as we can see in current time, of course, when things get popular, they drop like hell, because they're there to rape all the money coming out of your pockets if you're new to this game, even with the Forex market. You know, people get too comfortable, they get too excited, they think they figured out the entire game over a 6-month time frame. And we've got many years in the game that we've noticed things that would say, hey, look, come after 2020, come in 2021, 2022, now everybody's heard about crypto and they're hot and loving it. They're gonna get screwed. It's not what
And here's also more free game too. There's a lot of those people that was coming out with a lot of those commercials, things like that. Those are people that have money in crypto. It's only good until you can buy somebody that'll buy it from you. So if I got $60,000 in Bitcoin, it's only good. It's only $60,000 until somebody buys it. So now I gotta invest
Right.
funds into people saying, "Hey, this is worth it, worth the investment for me." In order to go out and buy it, how do I do that? I get more people into crypto. The more idiots I got into crypto, the more the more chance that I have of people going out and paying that $60,000 for that Bitcoin that I have.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that a lot of those people put a lot of those companies, a lot of those people put those commercials out because they needed to find a way to sell their Bitcoins, sell Ethereum, sell XRP.
Right.
That's the honest truth here. It's only good
And-
until you're able to sell it.
Right, and that's why for me, I personally feel like Bitcoin is gonna be removed. It's gonna be dead because there's gonna be some out there, but there's not gonna be enough out there to be useful, right? You're gonna be able to hold on to a coin and it might be worth 60 grand, but like you said, if nobody's gonna be able to use it, nobody's gonna spend 60 grand for it, right?
Right.
And Bitcoin itself is at its market cap. So if people think that Bitcoin is going to hit 1 in 200,000, it could, but you're not going to be able to use it nor sell it. So look at the long term and the cryptos that are going to be useful. So I'll throw this out here. This is a major gem for anybody who wants to understand where crypto's going. In November of this year, ISO 20022 is going to be coming out. It's the new it's replacing the central banking system. And there's multiple cryptos that are going to be involved in that. Buy those cryptos, right? Shiba Inu is not on that list.
XRP
Right?
is.
XRP is the main one, actually.
Yeah, I
That
bought
was
that a
the
long time
first
ago.
and main one. And so I would say if you can get as much XRP as you can. There's a couple of them that are on there. There's like 7 or 8 total cryptos, but those are the ones you're gonna want to buy
It's not
and
trading advice
hold.
either.
We got that list.
So
Tay, I think we got that list
We have the list.
from Byron. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
that list. So
yeah, that list is very, very important if you want to hold long term.
yeah.
Otherwise, I don't care if people buy Shiba. Just make sure you're not holding it for a long term.
Right.
Get your money and get out. Get your money. So, and I think we'll talk about this later on some other
We'll
podcasts.
have a
But
crypto-based podcast for sure.
well, not just crypto based, but just in general, right? When you're talking about trading stocks, Forex, crypto,
Mhm.
any of that stuff. I don't care what it is. You have to have a entry plan and you also have to have an exit. Well, I won't say plan because I use plan differently. Strategy, have an entry strategy and have an exit strategy. And understand what the exit strategy, you're going to leave some money on the table. You're never going to be able to grab every single penny. But as long as you can get out at the highest point period, that's what you want, that exit strategy. And
For
be cool with it. Have it predetermined.
For sure.
If it's predetermined, you can't not be satisfied. You did what you were supposed to.
Yep.
Avoiding greed is what keeps you sane. Avoiding greed is going to keep you profitable over time. It's all a long-term game. People get in the Forex niche and try to make money overnight or in a month, 6 months, and not understanding it's all in the skill set. It's all in preparing, learning, planning, writing down what you're journaling, what you're going to take each and every time.
Right.
And that's if you want to be in this thing, for eternity. We're not looking at this game stopping at any point. So your ability to trade will always exist. Take the time to learn the skill, master it, and then come back into the charts. And then you can get live, then you can get trades, and then you got to stay in control. Like psychology, we know 80% of the game. You know what I mean? So keeping ourselves intact, self-control, and personal development is necessary. I think this is one of the biggest games that's grown me over the last 4 years compared to anything I've really done. I've been in a lot of different skill sets and jobs over the years. Nothing has worked my brain so much than this right here.
Agreed.
To be the best person that you can be, because that's what's going to give you the results.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. Hey, I would suggest this to anybody who's also watching this. Don't wait, right? Because what did we find out during the pandemic? Right, we found out during the pandemic that people panic, and I mean we were all part of a certain platform, right? And that platform, it blew up. I'm talking, it blew up during the pandemic, right? because everybody was like, what am I going to do? Oh, I have extra money because the government is sending out stimmies. They're giving out unemployment. I'm quitting my job. I've got extra money to spend, right? So there was that factor. The other factor was the fact that they were like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do after this. So I want to hurry up and learn this skill set. You're not going to get it overnight. You know, I didn't say how long I've been trading. Thinking in your mind and thinking in the number, I've been trading for 4 years, just like these
4
guys
years
have.
as well. Oh wow.
Yeah, just like these guys have. So it's not an overnight. In fact, any trader will tell you, don't expect to be profitable at least for the first year. If you're profitable for the first year, you're probably going to be lucky for most of the time, or you're seeing something. You could be that one student in that anomaly, you know what I mean? But a lot of people quit within the first year. A lot of people feel like they didn't do anything positive in the first year. They might have broke even, but because of the money that they spent or the time that they spent, they feel like they failed. There's failures all around this. So I'm going to tell you that Forex not only is good to know for economic reasons or event reasons, but it's also good to know it for yourself, because you can push yourself to what you're going to be doing with failures. If you can bounce back from the failures that are in a market, those are some of the biggest psychological bounce backs you could ever have.
Right, guaranteed. Loss is a part of the game. You're gonna fail. You might as well, if you just get in this now, just know you're gonna take a L.
Hey, I'm saying right now, here's another one. Forex is a toxic girlfriend. Every time you think you got everything figured out, she come in, she be like, nah, we'll change it up, everything like that. Who's this girl on your phone? Like, what girl on my phone? I don't know. It's like, we argue about? It's the only girl on my phone. Like, yeah, that's how Forex is. Forex just comes in and it finds a way to make you think you know what you're doing. And it's like, let's figure something else. We'll mess with you a little bit.
Right.
Throw you off for about a week, which can put you in hiatus for about 4 months. Like, I've taken hiatus from maybe like 3 or 4 times where I'm like, well, I blew another account. I don't know if I can do this anymore. And then I'm like, yeah, I can. Like, yeah, I can. I can figure it out again.
How could I say no?
Yeah, how can I say no? I kind of love her right now, so I'm gonna come back. You know.
Yeah, man, it's important. You got to stay a student at all times. You're gonna learn something new every month, every week, every day. You know, even when it comes to charts, the fundamentals, to yourself, how you deal with the issues, how you deal with the chart pulling back on you, being negative for long times. I mean, I've had to sit in trades for days before it even moved in my favor. You know, so being able to look at that each day and just be like, all right, man, whatever, like, just keep going. It's on you. It's on you. How you decide.
Losing sleep over it.
Yo, trust me, at the beginning when I didn't understand over leveraging. So, quick story here for you guys, right? And Taylor was there. We would be doing London sessions late night, and there was one night that we were trading peso. And I was so over leveraged on it. We'll get into that in a different episode as well, but I was so over leveraged on it. And you know when you're over leveraged because immediately your ability to sleep is gone. When you're sitting there looking at your balance and you're looking at the drawdown that your trade is in, and you're like, oh my God, I'm about to lose all this. I'm about to lose all this. And then all of a sudden, boom, it margins you. It could take hours for that to happen. So when you're sitting there being tested, it's bad. It could get bad.
15 but that's what become a nightmare.
Right. But that's why we're here and why we're doing this, right? Because our failures and our experiences that we've taken, we want to be able to pass on to those individuals that are watching this and being able to correct from those mistakes, right? We've all made mistakes. You're going to make them, but at least you can come back and say, well, you know what? Zay said this on that podcast episode. Tay said this on that podcast episode, and it's going to be able to be a reference for you. So just take it with a grain of salt.
Right. And that mid trade that you're over leveraged on, you're going to have that thought. You're going to go, let me downsize this a little bit. I know they said, too much might hurt me. I don't want to hold through the pain. You got to know your pain tolerances. For some people, it's a little higher than others. Mine. And
high for me.
Account size, man. Respect your account size.
Yeah.
You got $500. Don't be wilding like you said on $5,000 or $50,000. Like, you got to relax.
Right, exactly, and have realistic situations, like a realistic goal. Like if you got $500 in your account, you're not going to be making $1 million overnight. I promise you that.
$50 win and be happy.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
$5 wouldn't be happy. What do you mean? Hey,
Exactly.
I'm up $500 today. I'm good. $500 trade. That's still good numbers.
Got
Like,
gas money, man. Come on now.
man,
Everybody relax.
Well, and I think so we're gonna end up having the trading plan within the community, right, Zay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for those that do have access to it, that trading plan is like training wheels. It will guide you financially through this whole thing perfectly.
Yep.
Right. And that came from experiences in here. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you go make $50 a day. Don't cap yourself off at that.
No.
Cap yourself off at a percentage, right? If you make if you're 10%, you need to make $50 and you have a long way to go and it's early in the day, let the rest of secure that $50 and let the rest of the trade run. Don't just close it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And vice versa. If you're down, don't close early. And there's a psychological point, and this is how badly Forex messes with your mind. When you're in drawdown, and I would challenge anybody that goes through this to watch themselves do this, right? When you're in drawdown, your trade comes back to entry. 9 out of 10 people will what? They'll close out.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they're afraid. Because they're afraid of going back into drawdown, right? So it is a psychological, it's literally when you hit that break even, there's a dopamine released in your brain, believe it or not, that makes you comfortable because you're not losing any money. That's fine until it becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, then it's a problem. Okay. So once or twice here and there, not a big deal. But if you can notice yourself where you're in drawdown, you close every single time, and then you can tell yourself, oh, afterwards, oh, it went exactly the way I wanted, 50, 80 pips, 100 pips. You know what? I'm going to say, okay, that's cool, but you failed.
Right.
You failed. Right. It's a harsh reality, but people need to understand that, like, this whole thing works based on your brain and how comfortable people feel. It's all psychological in this game. The technicals do not change. Ups and downs, lefts and rights, trend lines, fibs, they're the same measurements every single time.
Mm-hmm.
It's your brain that's different.
Right. That's where the plan and adrenaline comes back into play, and allowing yourself to be uncomfortable. Are you a person that can stretch beyond yourself? Can you get out of your comfort zone? Most of us have been raised a certain way over 20, 25 years to think a certain way. You've got to completely rethink everything that you thought about everything.
Right. Right. Well, and imagine that. Right. So you're sitting here. I just turned 39. Right. So, and I've been doing this for 4 years. So 35 is when I first started. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting here and like, okay, the things that I've uncovered. I mean, I'll go into it and I'll tell you religion, right? Because I'm on the fundamental side of it, right? The things with religion, the things with politics, the things with economics. Imagine looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself everything that you've been raised on has been a lie.
That's usually the case anyway.
It is, but when you realize it and you understand it, mm-hmm. It is so, oh my God, like I don't even know the word for it, but
it's like gut punching.
It is because then it's like, damn, okay, this is what I've known for this long. And this is, and within that time, I was in the public school system. So this is what the public school system also has to do with what I've learned. And it's a lie. Holy shit. Like, it is mind blowing.
Right. And that's why there's a big separation between society of classism. If you look at classism, you know, that comes with the information that you're given. They're giving certain classes certain information to be able to operate. So you can't even be upset with those that either are teaching you over the years or come before you, parents, the school system. It's the program is set for everybody. You know, you got to be able to separate yourself from the program.
Yep.
You know, in my opinion. So take the time out to think about that. If you're coming in new, being able to separate yourself from the masses, being able to think bigger than what you are now. You know, it's going to be a growing game. You're going to grow in every sense of the word before you even touch making $1. You know what I mean? You got to
Yep.
go through the skill. You got to go through the ups and downs, like you talked about. You're gonna hit you a lot. You know, and we're here to alleviate that and try to save you some pains by coming in and talking on the podcast. You know, about what we've been through every type of situation, and now coming through one of the biggest, one of the biggest pandemics in history. You know, we've learned a lot. We've seen a whole lot of major craziness, man, when it comes to the moves, even when it comes to the consolidations. They can be a long period of times. You know, we're getting comfortable. But I tell you, if things do ever get back to normal, you know, those of us that have grown through this pandemic, through these hellish times, we're going to be aces on these charts, aces on our trades, because we've practiced and developed during some of the worst times. You know,
I will say that for those that like you made a point, right? If anything ever gets back to normal, right? I don't think we'll ever be back to normal. We've seen this happen once, and we can see it happen again, right? And I mean, and this is what I mean by uncovering truths, because then you start understanding the loopholes that were used, or you start seeing the holes that weren't filled with information, right? And you're still left with why. If you're left with those questions, there's something wrong with what's going on, right? So then this is why I'm glad you said, like, you have to have an open mind. You said it like maybe about half an hour ago. You have to have an open mind with this. I've become what people would consider as a conspiracy theorist based on this, right? I could have a conversation with anybody in the conspiracy realm, because of the fact that these things paint that picture that some of those things may be true, but what they tell you is not what's like, of course, on TV, right? And you got to ask yourself sometimes, like, I'll watch some of these documentaries on TV, right? YouTube or whatever it is. And people will be like, oh, well, all you do is go to Google. All you do is this. All you do is that. The first thing that I'm thinking is, if this were actually, if it was a form of defamation, right? And form of defaming of whoever this is about, would it ever be on here legitimately? No, it wouldn't. YouTube is filtered. Google is filtered. You have to read between the lines to understand what's going on and make your own conclusion. You're never going to be flat out told or seen. Everything is going to be a conspiracy. But when you go further into it, you know what I'm saying, you can literally understand what Google and YouTube and all these things do. You can start making better decisions as well, and then having more stronger conversations in regards to it, right? It's not just about Google at that point.
And at some point, conspiracy has to drop, right? We are aware of what's happening at Facebook. Those of y'all aren't getting blocked all the time, or, you know, posts getting deleted and stuff like that. They're in control of what's being put out there.
Yeah.
Platform. So if you can't you think it's just happening there, but not been happening on your local news the last 80 years, 100 years, you're insane.
Right.
You gotta accept some things here on how they're moving the world.
Yeah, money moves everything. So the most important thing people are talking about is money. So reason why things get blown out of YouTube is because people are afraid of the money moving, because they have a lot of sponsors coming in. So people coming in for advertisements. I don't want to advertise on your channel if you're talking about hate groups. I don't want to advertise on your channel if you're going over this and this and that. So a lot of those big moves that happen are because of that reason. So same thing going on with media. Media's been like that for years. So why would I have a commercial running on your platform or running around at the same time if I know that you out here spewing things that I don't believe in? So a lot of those companies are doing that. It's pretty bad. Like I'm saying, the more you get into the stuff, the more, like Mike said, I'm literally like a big conspiracy theorist now about a lot of that stuff. And I'm not even gonna say just like, I'm not gonna mention people's names, but a lot of those things have been going on in media recently. A lot of celebrities. I'm like, yeah, okay. What kind of moves being played and why they're making this stuff happen? Even like the Deshaun Watson situation was like, come on now. Everybody knew what was going on. There was money for a reason, and even him trying to leave Texas is like, oh, okay. 35 cases. Like, wait, hold on. Like, how's this happening right now? If he would have stayed in Texas, if he would have re-signed with the Texans, none of the cases would ever came out. I guarantee that. So a lot of things happened because of money. They knew that Deshaun Watson leaving the Texans was going to lose them a lot of money. So they brought them girls out. Hey, bring them
Yo,
all out.
I'm telling. So you
Bring
can
'em all
see
out.
again. You see the forest through the trees. You can see through situations like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it teaches you. And I'm not saying, oh well, I went and looked at a Forex chart and then it told me what happened with Deshaun Watson. No. It's the training of your mind being able to see through the bullshit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's the important part. And when we can see that and we actually face these truths, right? And we're like, wait a minute. This is what I believed. And then now I should possibly believe something different because this is what I understand now. That can be defaming to yourself. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So, like, I'm not going to go into it any further because I do think it's a form of a conspiracy. And I'm not going to go into the details. But the situation with George Floyd, right? Some people feel that it wasn't real. Some people feel that it was, right? When you look at the details of what was going on, right, and think about how impactful that was. Now, that situation was a crazy situation, and the reason why I'll go into it is because a lot of these things are used for divisive tools.
Correct.
Right? They're divisive tools. And look, the Deshaun Watson situation, what did it do? It separated men from women, right? Oh, women are being disrespected. Oh, but yet you have a multi-million-dollar athlete who's being taken advantage of, right? You have two different opinions on that, which immediately causes division. Then they're winning, right? They're winning. We need to learn to come together and face certain things that are like, wait a minute, maybe that could be true. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I am wrong. When people start doing that, we can come together. And guess what? Everybody wants to not have to follow the government, this, that, and the other, right? We shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to do this. Why does the government have this much power? Because we gave it to them, guys.
Yeah, we keep giving it
We
to them.
gave it to them.
Gun control laws is a big thing right now for that George Floyd stuff. So everybody was talking about we need to do gun reform. So they started showing a bunch of black people getting shot. Boom, 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 boom. That happened
Right.
heavy. That didn't change a lot of people's minds. Well, I still need my guns. So now we got school shooters going up. Doom, doom, doom. All these kids again going to school with these guns now. Now they're like, oh, now we really got to do this. So who we got to kill in order for us to get these gun laws? They don't care. They're cool. Who they got to kill in order to get these gun laws changed.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Taylor, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. And whether the George Floyd thing was, for show or not, at the end of the day, we know this has been happening.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it comes to BLM, it's not like it's all black people that run that organization. It's not even funded by all black people for that organization. So it's not crazy to think that they're going to put on a show, put it on the news, make you believe all this crap is happening, and then make other things move in the background.
Exactly.
Got to be able
to
and I completely agree, right, when it comes to as far as Forex not being the thing that, hey, yo, this is happening, but hey, keep an eye out, because I remember when I was first learning Forex altogether, we had an educator and he was like, look, man, I traded against the news for almost a year straight and almost won every trade.
Mm-hmm.
Just opposite of whatever you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. But see, the thing is that we need to be able to come together and have these type of conversations, right? These conversations are what's difficult. But everybody wants to have an intellectual conversation, right? Everybody wants intellect. Everybody wants the informative conversations. But the ironic thing, the irony of that situation is nobody wants to hear what the points are actually made, right? We want the conversation. We just don't want to hear what's being said.
Yeah.
Why? Because it could offend me. It could offend me. Fuck being offended. I'm throwing something on the table, and if we can talk about it, let's get through it, right? That's how we grow together as one.
Right. Completely agree. And I don't mean for us to get into these tangents at all, but it's important that we have these conversations, man. We're gonna dive into each of these topics more and more over time. But
just wait as this season goes on. We're gonna get into some shit.
Right. For now, but you can see the level that each of us have been able to achieve from a knowledgeable standpoint on the topics of the world and the topics of the market and things that are affecting our children and our day-to-day lives. It's thanks to Forex. It's thanks to learning the skill set. It's thanks to paying attention to things we weren't paying attention to before.
Yep. Exactly.
I think it's great. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Forex has been amazing for me, honestly. I've always wanted to be an investor for a long time. I think to have the team that I have, I thank you guys for being here for sure. We're gonna have a lot of great conversation ahead of us, and more coming out for ITU. Thanks for joining us, man. Any last words from anybody before we close out?
Okay, go ahead.
Nah, something I'm gonna say when we get off the recording.
Now, if anybody that's watching this, this is episode 1. I'm glad you guys had the opportunity of, listening to what we've got to say. Hopefully, it's sparking some interest, and we move further, in the journey together. I want whoever's watching this to continue staying with us and learning who we are as individuals. Taylor and Zay are 2 of my closest people, and I've been working with them and rocking with them for years. And that unification we want for everybody. So, we welcome you guys to listening, asking questions. I am not a closed book. I'm an open book. Tag me, DM me, holler at me, because I'll give you my direct opinion on whatever it is. I am considered as an independent, so I'm not choosing either side when things happen. I'm more down the middle because I want people to understand both sides. When you guys hear how I trade understanding an up and a down, a bullish and a bearish move. I have to be ready for both ways. So I would rather people be ready for both ways when it comes to the news and what's in these streets. So thank you for taking the time and allowing us to be part of your lives for the past hour, and looking forward to doing the next episode with you guys.
Most definitely. Hey, make sure you come and follow these guys. Their social media links and things will be down in the description box. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe to the channels. We've got a lot coming for you guys. Of course, there'll be an ebook drop. Join the Telegram we have. We do occasionally drop overview or trade ideas to help you guys out that are struggling out there. And we come to bring you guys the best information we can, man. We've been through a lot. We've seen a lot, and we're trying to stay prepared for our families and for our team. So I'll holler at you guys later. Appreciate you. Deuces.
Go ahead.